Meltdowner. You have to stop the meltdown.
In Super Nintendo, it's called Merton.
I do like
Burton?
the sparks from a fire that seems to be burning off screen as the level title transition. It's very it can be it's that kind of image that can be whatever you want it to be, haunting and reflective, or just a sign that doom is on its way. You know,
I get it. It's funny. Because Doom's
it's
the name
good.
of the game.
A lot of the imagery used in this game can apply to whatever kind of playstyle you particularly prefer.
Doom guy, that you're going to break the elevator. That armor weighs 355 tons.
I like
Stop.
to imagine when
Thank
you
you.
do this that we're actually playing the 2016 reboot of Jumping Flash.
This is an interesting level because it's technically non-linear.
Yeah.
You have to go to like 3 different checkpoints and do whatever there first before you can go to the final area.
Huh.
I think Classic Doom had a few levels like that. I'm not sure. I haven't played more than a bit of Doom 2, and my experience with Doom 1 is incomplete. I don't think I've played. What's the name of the third game? There was a third game that.
I know that Doom
Of what
64 plays almost exactly like Doom 1 and 2. If you're thinking of that.
Well, I mean,
if you don't mind
kinda.
not being able to see anything.
Yeah.
It's a really dark game.
Yeah, if you turn the brightness up
Doom,
on your
Doom
computer to
2.
max, though, apparently it's pretty good. But yeah.
It's one of those games.
This
that
is
you
the
can get a
fifth
lot
game
out
in
of
the
if you play it
series.
as an emulator.
I'm here, you stupid enemies.
Doom 64 was really trying to. That was good. That was great. Excellent.
Combat challenge.
Yeah. The Doom 64 was really trying to get the creepy atmosphere thing going for the game. The problem with N64 PS1 games and they don't handle darkness well, like at all. Like you pretty much got light on at full blast, or you've got pitch blackness, or you've got games where the flashlight creates an area of light on at full blast, surrounded by pitch blackness. And God forbid you God help you if you need to turn the flashlight off or something, because you're not going to be able to see fucking anything.
Yeah, decent lighting wasn't really a thing in video games until like.
The PS3 360, really.
Yeah, basically.
Well,
some games were able to do it better than others, but I agree that we really didn't hit that sweet spot until about last generation.
There are a few games that in the PS2 era that had good lighting.
Yeah, like it was usually a concerted effort on that game's part, though. Like for example, Luigi's Mansion, like the flashlight effect in that was like a big deal because the flashlight was a major mechanic in that game.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
Super
they
Mario
hadn't,
Sunshine, the lighting's just like there.
They hadn't created the kind of lighting engines we enjoy now until around the time of the PS3 and 360 era. I remember global illumination being a big talking point for Sonic Unleashed, for instance.
Yeah.
Sonic Unleashed still looks really damn good, but
Yeah, and it's mostly because of that global illumination. I mean, it doesn't help the frame rate in Adabat, god damn it, but when it looks good, it looks really goddamn good. I remember this room right here was the area I was watching Total Biscuit play when I consciously decided that I was getting this game because I liked the look of the mobility. And this is like one of the very, very few first-person games where I don't feel the platforming is clunky. You know? It's
Compared to what?
well, the nice thing is that they kind of leave it to almost entirely square or rectangular platforms. You're not kind of going to be falling off of a weird rounded edge.
You mean like that part in Metroid Prime?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the platforming. I love Metroid Prime, but the platforming is not what I love about Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
That'd be exactly the reason why they give you a double jump after you get space jump.
Yeah. The thing about being in first person though is that unlike third person you can't see your feet, and unlike in real life where you're actually in first person, you can't feel your feet either. So it's hard to get an accurate idea of where you're gonna land. and there have to be gameplay systems to compensate for the lack of that. Otherwise, platforming in first person doesn't really work all that well.
You also don't have true peripheral vision in these sorts of games. Is kind of the thing.
Your eyeballs are round, screens are flat. You're never going to be able to see to your side. You know, if you're just walking without looking down, you can see your own feet. And if you hold your hand out to the side of your face, you can sort of see it at the edge of your vision. It's something that's always limited in a first-person game. That's partly why I find a good third-person perspective a bit more immersive. That's just me, though. You know.
Well, it doesn't take you out of it because you're thinking about that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Which is weird though, because we've done like experiments on that, where you kind of like there was a driving test
I've
with
heard
like
of
the
this,
drone
yeah.
behind them, where it's like you have a drone and you put them in like VR, so you're seeing like yourself drive from the perspective of the drone, and people just can't do it.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird that in video games, I always feel like I get lost in first-person games way more than third-person ones, even though I live in first-person in real life. You know.
Well, part of it is that the environment is usually pretty unfamiliar, but the thing about you have less spatial awareness in first-person video games. I imagine it's different in VR because you can look around a bit more naturally.
Does this game support VR?
There is a Doom VR now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
It's not supported by this game exactly. It's more.
You have to get a
VR.
specific Doom VR version.
Yeah. It's a separate release.
Cool.
So
I guess.
Skyrim VR for that matter.
Okay. I don't have a VR. I don't know if I ever will get a VR because it's so expensive, but
I
we'll
want
see.
a PSVR so that I can
For
play...
Resident Evil 7, yeah.
Yeah, for Resident Evil 7, just for that one game. Like, I'll play other VR games. I'll get Doom VR and Skyrim VR eventually, but it's for Resident Evil 7 because that game is amazing enough on a controller. I want to play it in VR. You know?
Yeah, VR is like
if you're gonna do Skyrim VR, just start LARPing in Midwest PA. I think it's cheaper.
I mean, VR is that weird thing where I think it has the potential to be big, but at the same time, there's just like, it's expensive, and I'm not getting that drastically different in experience for most games.
It'd be kind of like if the Wiimote was like $300 on its own, I think is the thing. Like,
Oh no, dude! I am kind of tempted to get Arkham VR just so I can do silly things in front of a mirror.
the price isn't worth the novelty to a lot of people yet, I think. Is
Yeah.
the thing.
It's a lot more than a novelty.
Yeah,
when
I
a
was gonna say
game is
it can
designed
add.
for it.
Yeah, it's like it can add a bit more than a novelty, like Lewis was getting on with Resident Evil 7. But there aren't enough games with that to justify the price yet. Is quite the thing, I think, for a lot of people.
I mean, the PlayStation VR, and we're talking about a VR with a pretty low screen resolution on the inside of the headset. The PlayStation VR is basically the price of a PlayStation 3. So,
Do you guys think that? Like the stigma is not as bad as it used to be? Because I still think that's why people are also not willing to
don't
jump
think
ship.
the stigma is there as bad as it used to be because we have good games for it. The matter is
Resident Evil 7 and a few other games have shifted the tone. Like, you know, they've shown off the potential, so people see the potential, even if they can't afford to try it out for themselves.
I also don't think that the hype isn't as much anymore either, because it's not new anymore. It's not as exciting for a lot of people because it's been around for a while. Oculus Rift is like 3 or 4 years old at this point, so you know it's not.
Well, you know,
like
depending on who you are, that can be a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people, including me, were scoffing at, or well, at least partly scoffing at it during that new thing hype phase. But for the most part, I've always seen it as having more potential, if only for first-person games, because a lot of what puts me off about playing first-person games can be solved just by implementing the combination of VR and motion control. So, like, there's the controller versus keyboard. What the fuck is this guy doing?
You okay there, buddy?
Anyway, controller versus keyboard is a big thing. Like, there's a hell of a lot of precision you can get from aiming with a mouse. I don't like the keyboard aspect as much, but that's just because I don't play multiplayer shooters and I don't care about twitching back and
It's
forth
really
like a
weird though,
ferret.
because I can play something like Overwatch just fine on a keyboard and mouse. Resident Evil 7 though, I kind of struggled.
Yeah, it's well, I think it's just the speed of everything because it's deliberately slower.
I think just the layout for me personally, like in Overwatch, I don't have to check a map. I don't have to check
Oh,
inventory
is
or
it
other
one of
things
those?
like that.
Is it one of those PC games that doesn't change its interfaces for the mouse and keyboard? Like, is the map something?
Well, you can
that's-
customize it.
No, I mean,
but it's just like
I mean the way the interface is designed. Like, is the map screen designed for a mouse, or is it clearly a controller map that's been mapped to a mouse?
they want you to use keyboard for it by default.
Oh,
So just like
so
hitting
buttons, in other words.
Yeah.
So
buttons, yeah.
you're not getting the extra flexibility of controlling the map with a mouse. It's like it's like a Deus Ex Human Revolution versus Mankind Divided. Mankind Divided had that problem where the interfaces were very clearly designed for a controller. So the PC version lost some of the flexibility in interface design that Human Revolution
Yeah.
had.
You see,
But,
it's
like-
weird though. I thought that most games were developed for the PC first and then ported to consoles.
Well, yeah, there's developing it for the PC, which is a technical thing, but there's also designing it with a controller in mind versus designing it for a mouse in mind.
And knowing where's your biggest user base
Yeah,
at.
what a lot of designers will do is that they'll focus on interfaces that are controller friendly, because otherwise they have to design and program two completely different interfaces for different versions of the game, and maybe even program the PC version with both, so that people can pick which one they're comfortable with. But we're getting off track from what I was originally saying. Is that VR, the keyboard versus controller thing, can be like if I could play Stalker in VR, I would have no fucking need for a mouse. Maybe the keyboard, because there's a lot of button functions, but it's like the precision of a mouse kinda doesn't matter if you have motion control and can turn your head more freely than you could with your mouse. Just being able to aim in a different direction than the direction you're looking is already an increase in precision, you know? So I'd really like to play more first-person shooters like that. Fortunately, it's fucking expensive.
yeah, VR is still, like you said, like PSVR.
Very
is
expensive,
very
Douglas.
expensive, Douglas.
Pot roast.
What?
Nothing.
Okay.
I like that you get the shotgun in this game like 2 seconds after starting the game, by the way. I know...
Well, it's kind of it's the default Doom weapon at this point.
Yeah, but even in the original Doom, you'd be stuck with the handgun for a while, and then you'd have to... Like, I think, like, the earliest opportunity to find the shotgun in Doom 1 is actually a secret.
Yeah, in the first level.
Yeah, like, you can find it in the second level, but if you really hunt around in the first level, you can get it then.
Well, from what I've seen here in this playthrough, Doom is a much more... it's weird to say it, but it's like a close range first-person shooter. You're expected to be close... Okay, that was...
Okay.
You're expected to be close to enemies because of the whatever they're called, kills. So
Yeah.
a
Gory
shotgun
kills,
is
yeah.
a good pick
Yeah,
for...
I would say mid-range. You're encouraged to stay mid-range because you're not aiming down sights at everything, and you're generally trying to avoid enemies that are attacking you in melee. So you stay relatively close, and this allows you a good degree of leeway with your aim. Like, you don't have to aim super precise unless you're going for a headshot with a handgun or something.
Yep. Fuck.
Yeah.
History books will find it hard to describe the time Doom Guy curb stomped the floor out of existence.
Will they? I thought Doom Guy was like Chuck Norris. Anything could happen.
Nah, we live in the real world, Lewis. Come on.
I want a Doom Guy facts book. Come on.
Yeah, Doom Guy...
No.
You see, here's the thing. Doom Guy is capable of great feats, but I also have the feeling that he also, like, doesn't know how to do his own laundry. Or, like, still has to call his mom to figure out how to turn on the stove. And things like that.
Well, I mean, he is a Marine. He's got training in all the things that a Marine would, which is more than just combat. But it's also a video game, so you're focusing on that one thing.
Pull the lever, Doom Guy.
I do like the padded look of Doom Guy's armor, but sometimes when it's dark, I look at his hands and I think Batman. I think
I am the darkness.
Yeah, Batman did have some pretty meaty gauntlets in the Arkham games.
Yeah.
Specifically, Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
I can't be Batman. I'm using guns.
No, Batman used a gun in Final Crisis.
True.
And Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, Bat Tank.
Yeah.
Wait, did he just catch that guy in some kind of armbar?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes
You're normally not supposed to snap it in half
sometimes
like that,
the glory kills look like they're from a weird perspective, like you're seeing Doom guy kick from his chin. You know?
Well, the leg just comes out of his neck.
Well, I mean, his arm comes out of his chest to aim.
No,
So.
I think there's a cartoon comic or something that has a superhero who's got a big chin, who's got like fists or feet coming from his chin. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that.
Well, we also have the Crimson Chin, so. Voiced by
I
Jay
think-
Leno.
Oh, this is a room from I think maybe the first level of the first game. If
No,
not
it's
that
not because
level-
they're playing a different music. Even I know the
Well, no.
music from the first level of Doom.
Yeah, but it does play the classic music when you enter these rooms, though.
Second level then.
It's
second level.
Maybe
it's one of the
second.
episodes of the first game.
Yeah, it's something that I've played anyway.
Yeah, like
Love the space.
I recognize the music for sure.
The unfortunate thing about this rendition of this area, though, is that the original level had a darkness thing going on. We're talking like early DOS tier darkness and light, where certain
Yeah.
areas were practically impossible to see in, and some levels,
Kryptonite darkness.
some parts of this area had flickering lights, which was cool. But you know,
I think that would probably be too hard to emulate with an actual lighting engine going on at the same time.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
But-
I also think that they probably just wanted to make it more recognizable as, ooh, look, this is old Doom. Well, I suppose that level of extra detail would probably be a kick for the classic fans, though.
Yeah, they might have the proper lighting effect going on in the actual level that you play when you finish that area. Who knows?
Yeah, well, that's old Doom. We're playing new Doom. More next time for new Doom, which is still not as good, which is still better than old Doom because it's called Doom.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna say not as good,
I was gonna say not as good as old Doom, and I was like, "Are you fucking high?"
Well, you know, okay, well, we can have this argument next time.